Hello, future doctors. If you're a NEET 2026 aspirant, stop whatever you're doing and listen closely. क्योंकि आज मैं आपको देने वाला हूँ the ultimate cheat code. As an educator with over 10 years of experience analyzing NTA trends, I can tell you a massive secret. NTA's pattern has been completely decoded. We've analyzed the actual papers from 2021 all the way to 2025, and in this explainer, I'm giving you the top 21 highly predictable questions that are virtually guaranteed to appear. We've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's not waste a single second. Here is our rapid-fire roadmap. We'll start with the secret criteria we use to find these questions, then break down the exact predictions across physics, chemistry, botany, and zoology. And finally, we'll wrap up with the ultimate expert strategy. So, you might be wondering, what's our methodology? How on earth did we filter the massive NEET syllabus down to just 21 guaranteed questions? Well, it's actually pretty simple. We specifically looked for topics that have appeared 3 or more times in just the last 5 years. These are the undeniable high-weightage chapters according to NTA's recent trends. And most importantly, they are strictly NCERT and formula-based. Guys, this isn't guesswork. This is pure data-backed science designed to give you a massive advantage. All right, Section 2, Physics. Let's tackle the subject everyone kind of fears the most. Yes, it's tough, but high-weightage chapters fetch incredibly easy marks if you just know where to look. Let's break down our 5 predicted physics questions. First up from Class 11, Laws of Motion. We saw this in 2022 and 2024. Your pro tip? Always draw your free body diagrams first. Also from Class 11 is Thermodynamics, from 21 and 23, where you really need to carefully watch the positive and negative signs for work done. Moving to Class 12, ray optics and modern physics are basically direct formula applications. Master those lens and mirror formulas and memorize Bohr's model equations. And for current electricity, seen in 21 and 25, here's my English pro tip for you. Units check karo or options eliminate karo. Seriously, half the time you don't even need to solve the complex equation if you just eliminate options based on the correct SI units. Let's do a quick deep dive into that current electricity prediction. NTA absolutely loves repeating this exact circuit concept every alternate year. The predicted question is almost certainly going to ask you to calculate the equivalent resistance or potential drop in a Wheatstone bridge or a potentiometer circuit. So make sure you have those formulas completely on your fingertips. Moving right along to Section 3, Chemistry. Remember, physical, organic, and inorganic hold equal weightage in the NEET pattern, but they require entirely distinct solving strategies. Let's cover the first 4 of our 6 chemistry predictions. For physical chemistry, it's electrochemistry and thermodynamics. Focus heavily on Nernst equation shortcuts and Gibbs free energy numericals. But look at inorganic, coordination compounds, and periodic trends. Inorganic questions are direct NCERT fact-based hits. If you memorize the IUPAC naming rules and those tricky exception cases and periodic trends, you're literally going to solve these in seconds. Diving into our 5th chemistry prediction, we're seeing a huge trend of assertion reasoning questions based rightly on organic reaction mechanisms. Specifically, the SN2 mechanism with iodine as a leaving group is a major favorite. NTA is increasingly using assertion reasoning to test your deep conceptual understanding of these organic mechanisms, rather than just rote memorization. So the crucial point here is understanding the core difference between SN1 and SN2. SN1 is all about carbocation stability, right? While SN2 is strictly governed by steric hindrance. And here is your ultimate organic chemistry pro tip. Assertion reasoning mein hamesha because laga ke padho. Read the assertion, insert the word because, and then read the reason. If it makes logical sense together, there's the answer. And for SN2 specifically, always check for steric hindrance. For our 6th chemistry prediction, another major pattern involves testing inorganic properties, like helium solubility in oxygen, via tricky statement-based formats. NTA pulls these exact lines directly from the NCERT textbook. You really can't just memorize the formulas for this section. You have to know those factual NCERT statements cold. Okay, let's transition to biology, starting with Section 4, Botany. I really need you to hear me loud and clear on this next part. Absolute NCERT line-by-line mastery is completely non-negotiable here. I'm going to speed through these 4 highly predictable botany topics spanning Class 11 and 12. We've got plant kingdom classification, photosynthesis pathways, sexual reproduction in flowering plants, and molecular basis of inheritance. Notice the sheer volume of questions being pulled from genetics and plant physiology. For photosynthesis, you absolutely must track those exact ATP and NADPH counts. And for genetics, make sure you master those replication enzymes. And for our fifth botany prediction, the DOTA proves NTA heavily relies on assertion reasoning formats for plant morphology and genetics. They love directly testing if you understand the conceptual process, like the shoot apical meristem changing into a floral meristem. We also consistently see a highly predictable numerical question for genetics, calculating the frequency of recombination between gene pairs on the same chromosome to map their position. My specific pro tip for you, Mendel's ratio U-scroll. Remember that calculating map units is a frequent, highly predictable numerical. Please don't skip the math in biology. Moving to our final subject area, Section 5, Zoology. Zoology in NEET is heavily anchored in human physiology and biotechnology applications. Here are the first three of our 5 zoology repeating questions. Human reproduction, specifically tracking hormone levels during the menstrual cycle. Next is evolution mechanisms. You need to have those Hardy-Weinberg equations right on your tips. And for biotechnology, here's my best advice. Biotechy applications or PCR steps go retlo. Denaturation, annealing, extension, you have to know the exact temperature steps because it's an all-time favorite topic. To round out the zoology predictions, we are essentially guaranteeing a match-the-following format for human diseases and reproductive health methods. We're also seeing repeated assertion reasoning questions on amniocentesis. These are direct, concept-based hitters from the reproductive health and human health chapters. And before we wrap up the subjects, here is a quick hack for cell biology. You must know the difference between active and passive transport in cell functions. The real trick is to differentiate transport mechanisms strictly based on ATP usage. Active needs energy, passive doesn't. It's a simple concept, but it is a highly predictable area for scoring quick marks. All right, we have successfully broken down the top 21 predictable questions across all subjects. Now, let's pull all of this data together into an actionable strategy for our final wrap-up. Here is your expert playbook, summarizing the core strategy. Whether you're a dropper or a fresher, prioritize the 25 to 30 high-rated chapters we've highlighted today. In biology, remember that accuracy is always greater than speed. In physics, focus relentlessly on formula mastery and practice those repeated numericals. In chemistry, find that sweet spot balancing your theory with reaction mechanisms. And most importantly, take mock tests after every single major unit. I want to emphasize this exact quote we analyzed today. Smart aspirants don't study harder, they study smarter. You don't need to read every single page of the syllabus with equal intensity. Decoding NTA's trends and focusing your energy on these predictable concepts is the real secret to crossing that 600+ mark. So, I'll leave you with this final, provocative question. Which of these top 21 high-weightage topics will you master today to secure your medical seat? Waqt kam hai aur competition bahut zyada. So get off your screens, hit those NCERT books immediately, and start crushing these predictable questions. Best of luck, future doctors.